You have to kind of excuse me a little bit. It was really weird. My voice actually kind of sounded a little off. No, I mean, I'm talking now, so I'm perfectly fine. But I guess it's my punishment for talking so much about Amphibia yesterday. I guess I'm feeling kind of froggy. Happy Sunday, everybody. Um, and all the excitement talking about the NBA and the NHL and the Stanley Cup Final, stuff like that, I actually completely forgot that the Belmont Stakes were yesterday as well. Um, I mean, again, you know, we weren't going to get a Triple Crown winner. So it really wasn't that big of a deal as much as, it would have been, say, when Justify won a year ago or American Pharaoh won back in 2015. So it it's pretty not meaningless. I mean, there's definitely against the Belmont Stakes, so as its name suggests, there are stakes involved, I guess. Um, I think one of the lasting memories I have of like the first time I legitimately saw all three races, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes all the way through. When they got to the Belmont Stakes, and this is, I forget what year it was, but I don't recall having a Triple Crown winner then. Actually, no, we didn't. They actually got Frank Sinatra Jr. to sing his father's iconic classic "New York, New York," and I mean, if you've never, I mean, yes, that Frank Sinatra Jr., the one that was featured on Family Guy, the one where at the end of the episode, Brian, or not Brian, Stewie, not Peter calls, Frank Sinatra Jr.'s mom on Mia Farrow, and tugs him on his ear, and or no, not tugs him on his ear. He just like a parent does with their used to do with their child. Hopefully you don't do this anymore, but she spanked him like on the bottom because that's just what parents did then. And no kidding, for one thing, they got the real Frank Sinatra Jr. to voice his character on Family Guy, which was really cool. But no kidding, Frank Sinatra Jr. sounds exactly like his father. I mean, to be perfectly honest, in my household growing up, especially around Christmas time, I would listen to a lot of Bing Crosby, and well, that's because my father is a huge Bing Crosby fan. I mean, he actually still has like one of those old cassette tapes of all of Bing Crosby's Christmas music, which is really nice to hear. I know Bing Crosby was known to not really be the greatest guy in the world, but he can sing. Anyway, I was going to get that Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra's careers overlap slightly, I believe. So, I mean, in the end, I'm sure that people during the latter end of the previous generation, and then some of my generation were listening to Frank Sinatra, which is really cool. Although, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that Frank Sinatra was in The Godfather. So, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, it's technically not very useless because there's so many intricacies involving the movie The Godfather itself. That can be a series of videos all on its own. Like, for example, that movie was directed by a guy named Francis Ford Coppola, who he and several other members of his family either have an Oscar or have been nominated for an Oscar, or both. In fact, One such individual is named Nicholas Coppola, who actually, not co-starred, he was more of a supporting character in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, no, it's not the same name as mine. In my full name, I actually have an H when I spell Nicholas. This guy, there's no H in, Nicholas Coppola's name. Because he wanted to, branch out and be his own person. I don't know if he legally changed his name, but long story short, the Nicholas Coppola that you guys don't know of, is the relatively popular guy that we all know of, and that is Nick Cage. Yes, Nicolas Cage is related to the director of The Godfather. I would never make something like that up if it wasn't true. Believe me. So, yeah, you now know one of the probably 1 billion, secret facts about The Godfather, whether it's the people behind it, the people in front of the camera, all that stuff. Although, one other story that actually is interesting is, when Francis Ford Coppola was on Inside the Actors Studio, and I actually used to watch that show, he talked about how he tried to get the people at Paramount Studios to let him cast Marlon Brando as, the main role. And Marlon Brando wasn't really known as the greatest guy in the world. Not even close. So, the people at Paramount told Francis Ford Coppola, okay, you can, under 3 conditions. 1, he has to perform a screen test. It's basically kind of like an audition in a way, like, see if what you would look like doing the role itself and how it would happen, stuff like that. 2, he has to do it for free. You can't pay him any money, you can't do anything that, whatever he does, you can't pay him for it. And the third stipulation was, you have to understand, Marlon Brando really wasn't the greatest guy. In fact, he was a little bit crazy. And because of that, the people at Paramount Studios said, you have to reimburse us for whatever damage that Marlon Brando does during the entire production process. And I don't know the entire story, but from what I've heard, it seems as if, they told Marlon Brando, oh, you're never going to be able to do this role. You're never going to be able to, perform effectively. You're not going to be able to behave, stuff like that. And, Marlon Brando took that advice and, now we have one of the greatest movies ever made, apparently. I've never actually seen it all the way through. But, don't ever think... Yeah, that's one thing. Don't ever think that just because you haven't seen the movie that automatically makes you a bad person. It does not. Although, there are some movies that are just so incredibly iconic and memorable that a lot of people really do get shocked or stunned if, for whatever reason, you haven't seen it. I mean, for example, Endgame's been out for well over a month, and if you haven't seen that, then that would surprise me. Because, people are still talking about it even now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it's... Sorry, I went to bed late last night. I wouldn't be surprised if, it's going to be in theater. I think Endgame is going to be in theaters until probably like late July, early August. So that's going to be interesting. Again, nothing really new to report today. Actually, there are a few things to report. I mean, tonight you have quite possibly the last game of the NBA Finals, unless Boston can pull out a win. Again, I actually predicted that the Bruins were going to win in 7 games. And, now it can only be 7 games because, it's It's 3-2, and, 2 more games would be 7. So, again, whoever wins this game, either the series is over tonight or we get, one more game, although I don't know when. And, tomorrow night, you literally have quite possibly the final game of the NBA this year if, Toronto wins. Again, I have Golden State winning in 7. So we'll have to, see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's a beautiful day, go outside, do stuff. As Bender Bending and Rodriguez would say from Futurama, it's going to be fun on a bun. So, yeah, that's always something. Boy, I was actually kind of worried because, you guys know that I like football, and that's the sport I usually follow more than anything. And I was worried that I wasn't really going to be, satisfied with what's going on, but I have to say, even with, as much, or probably in the eyes of some, as little as I've been paying attention to sports like basketball and baseball and hockey, I've actually been keeping myself, pretty entertained, I guess. And I actually have been watching, and again, I've been watching shows like America's Got Talent and finales of shows like Star vs. the Forces of Evil, so I guess in that regard, I am pretty entertained. And again, we're going to be getting Amphibia in just a little over a week from now. I'm really excited for that. Again, here's hoping it's good. Although that does remind me, I posted this on my Facebook yesterday, and I think it would be a crime for me not to share it here. There's actually a title, or a moniker, if you will, called an EGOT, which is what happens when someone wins an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. There is an award given for internet-related endeavors called a Webby. In fact, Sean Evans, the host of Hot Ones, just won a Webby the other day. And yesterday, I talked about, Disney Legends, which, I forgot to say, another person that got drafted in the, well, not drafted, but who's now in the Disney Legends class of 2019, James Earl Jones. Yeah. Again, you have, Robert Downey Jr., Ming-Na Wen, James Earl Jones, Hans Zimmer. These are really good people. And they're all Disney Legends. So, my question to you all is this. If someone were to win a Webby, the entirety of the EGOT, and become a Disney legend, does that make them a We Got This? Actually, you know what? If Snoop Dogg were to do it, they would have to take the LE from Legends, and then they would have to call it We Got Dizzle. That was probably either really good or really bad. I don't care, it was still great, and I am proud of that all the way through. Just like I'm proud of making videos every day all the way through. So favorite, share, hit that subscribe button. I am humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy on this wonderful Sunday, which reminds me, I hope that we all have a very wonderful Sunday. It's definitely looking like in terms of weather. And always remember that if you have anything to talk or say, I'm always here to lend an ear, and I will always have your back. Take care, and make good choices.